My name is Anissa Lee.
My name is Hafsa Humair, and our project is Bioethanol.
So for our project, we wanted to find a way to solve the energy crisis that we have now, and we found it through an alternative fuel source called bioethanol, which is derived from plant waste, plant and food waste. So then with that, bioethanol is primarily gotten from crops like corn and other food waste. But then in this case, we wanted to use waste materials such as orange peels, newspaper, and sawdust in order to properly conduct our experiment. So the question we have is which of the waste materials we're testing will produce the greatest amount of bioethanol? So our hypothesis was that the orange peels was going to do the best because it was the most organically derived. It was the freshest out of the crop, basically, as you can say. So the materials that we had divided each waste material in 3 separate containers. We also had hydrochloric acid, so that required us to wear PPE, which is gloves, aprons, and goggles in our case. We also had test strips, one of glucose content and the other one of cool track test strips. And then we also had a big water bath for us to do. So the procedure, what we did is we put on our PPE, and then we started to label the glasses with each waste material in it. And then we had diluted our hydrochloric acid with water. And then right after that, we had mixed it in each of the waste materials. And then we covered those, and we put those in the water bath that was at 40 degrees Celsius, and we kept that in for a full hour. During that full hour, every 15 minutes, we would check the glucose content, and we would record that in our data. As you can see in this photo right here, it's the separate minutes that we did. And so after that, we would mix in a yeast solution in order to further break down the waste materials that we had, and we kept that in for about 18 hours. And then afterwards, we used our coolant strips to indicate whether or not bioethanol was produced.
So after all these procedures, we found our results. Excuse me. Our results suggested that orange peel contains the most amount of glucose compared to sawdust and newspaper. In addition, our results suggested that alcohol was present in orange peels due to the change in color of the coolant test strips. The coolant test strips with orange peels turn into a shade of brown. According to the scale provided on the coolant test strips, 33% of glycol was present in the orange peel solution. There was no color change in the newspaper and the sawdust, which makes sense because orange peel was the most organic waste material that we had compared to sawdust and newspaper. We concluded that newspaper, sawdust, and orange peels can all be converted into ethanol. However, our data results demonstrated that orange peel conversion rate from cellulose to glucose is the fastest, and therefore produce the most amount of ethanol in a given time period. In addition, we observed that orange peels produce the most amount of ethanol because of the color change, as stated before. The results also expose a limitation in our experiment. Due to the fact that we used coolant test strips, we were unable to precisely pinpoint the actual amount of alcohol produced, and therefore we were only able to determine that around 10% of alcohol was produced, which indicates a range of 0 to 25%. The alcohol that was produced was converted into glucose and into galacturonic acid, and then fructose, and then arabinose, and then turned into galactose and xylem due to the presence of acid hydrolysis in the mixture, which transformed into ethanol through fermentation. This obviously bioethanol, with the energy crisis going in around us, can be applied everywhere around us. So with ethanol itself is known to be one of the best tools used to fight air pollution, which is a very big crisis going on in our world. There is no fuel available today that matches ethanol's ability to improve environment quality. Therefore, ethanol is 35% oxygen, by adding oxygen to fuel, the fuel combustion reduces harmful emissions. By replacing ethanol with gasoline, we will reduce carbon dioxide emission as well by an average of 34%. Ethanol is a non-toxic, which makes it very safe to be used, and it's water soluble and quickly biodegradable. Therefore, we can decompose it and use it again. Ethanol is a renewable fuel produced from plants, as my partner stated, unlike petroleum-based, which is produced from fossil fuels and have a limited supply. You see, ethanol adds oxygen to the fuel and it aids in complete combustion. And by doing that, it reduces carbon monoxide emission, unlike petroleum or petroleum diesel or gasoline, which consists of toxic components such as benzene, toluene, and xylene. The use of ethanol in gasoline reduces carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas emission from transportation by 39.6 million metric tons. That's equivalent to removing about 8.4 million cars from roads for an entire year.
Wow.
So
then for next time, we're hoping if we would have a bigger setting for our experiment, we would want to use different types of fruits and vegetables and use their waste to see if there would be different levels, since we only had one food waste, and that was orange peels. So this is our project, and
hope
thank
you
you for
enjoyed
listening.
it.
Thank you.